Hi again, this is Radia, and now I'm going to talk about a country that I have always found very interesting, very enigmatic, very charismatic. And no, I'm not talking about my country, Bangladesh. I'm talking about the birthplace of Islam. I'm talking about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yes, and yes, I have personally known and befriended Saudi people, both men and women, during my 1.5 year stay in America, where they were also students. And my experience with them was mostly very good, and especially the women, who are very nice, very kind, very generous. They are not at all proud about the fact that they practice their religion perfectly well, and they are not critical towards liberal Muslims like us, like, oh, why don't you cover yourself the way we do? Not at all. They're very down to earth and very much willing to learn about other people's culture. And I wish them all the best, I really do. Actually, whatever people like me would understand or learn about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia by listening to the elderly members of our family, like my father or whatever. My father always would say that they were like really poor. I mean, they were extremely a poor country, and just walking with their camels and eating dates and just living the most down to earth kind of life. And the kingdom was established in the year 1932, and 6 years later, in the year 1938, their gold mine was struck. They found oil for the first time, and of course there was no looking back ever since. However, it's in recent times, like the last 1 or 2 decades, in the recent times, that the Saudi royal family, the Saudi population, their entire economy, they have learned like lessons the hard way, because it is during this time that the price of the oil plummeted a lot of times. And the problem is not the fact that it plummets or whatever, but it's the fact that it was not stable like before. It keeps on fluctuating because of pandemic like corona, or like 9/11 attacks, or like the American recession, or simply the oversupply of oil, because Saudi Arabia leads the OPEC foundation, but there are many non-OPEC countries who are very powerful in terms of their oil industry. So Saudi Arabia is really struggling, and it has been like it has been established that very recently it has been established that there will be many negative economic indicators, like there will be more unemployment, there will be more budget deficit, and there will be like a fall in the GDP per capita or income per household and stuff like that. I am not going to get into the numbers because I don't even remember those numbers at this point in time. I'm not like into memorizing everything, but yeah, I mean, their dependency on oil has made the economy so oil centric that till very lately, I mean, now they're paying VAT on some products that they're purchasing, but before that, for a very long time, Saudi citizens, they were not paying any tax. They were not paying bills for water or bills for electricity, and many other things were subsidized. 2/3 of the people who were seeking employment were employed by the government, mostly doing nothing. So you can understand, these are very much like oil centric, oil driven economy economical aspects, and they have realized lately that they have to, oil is 80% of their income basically, so and they have to ultimately in the 21st century come out from this vicious cycle and focus on non-oil sectors. And to do that, the crown prince, it was his idea, his imagination, his dream, Vision 2030. Apparently it was proposed at a budget, the Vision 2030, especially consisting of the NEOM megacity. It was proposed at a budget of like $500 billion, but then it became like $8.8 trillion, which is like 17.6 or 17.7 times costlier. And for the first time in a quarter, they're facing their highest ever budget deficit, and which is very, very like not a good sign for their economy. And the problem with the NEOM city, and the problem with the fact that they're trying to bring foreign direct investment, but of course whatever they expected the foreign direct investment to be, it is much less than that. So there is a disappointment over there also. Anyway, so there was some foreign direct investment. They have made like an amusement park in the Six Flags, and I've been to Six Flags in the USA, so I know it's a humongously expensive project. So they're going to do that. They're going to make the NEOM city, the Vision 2030, and all of that. So these things, I mean, they are expecting like millions and millions of people to be relocated and to come as tourists, and that's how they're going to recover their investment. However, this seems like a completely bizarre dream, because it's not looking like that right now. Of course, there is the Palestinian war going on, but the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has never had so many enemies the way it has now. I mean, they have the problem with the Shia Houthis in the Yemen sector. I mean, the Yemen is a country, Yemen, yeah, and they have a big problem going on with the Khomeini in Iran, with the Shia problem over there, and they're also having regional issues with other countries, you know. I've been to Dubai. I've not been to Saudi Arabia, but I don't think Saudi Arabia can become Dubai, because Dubai has been welcoming tourists to actually live over there, not just come and visit and go, but like Westerners. I mean, I've been to Dubai beach, and there were like women wearing bikini. So I do not think Saudi Arabia can become Dubai on just in one night. Yes, they are doing reforms on women's rights. Women are allowed to drive now. They're allowed to not wear the veil now. There are like cinemas and musical concerts and sporting events. There is reform, but this reform is not enough. I mean, there are many reasons why white people or Western people will not want to come to Saudi Arabia or visit Saudi Arabia. I don't want to go into that details, whatever it is. I don't want to go into that details. But basically, I just want to say that there is one thing that is very shocking, which I just got to know recently, and it is the fact that Saudi Arabia's crude oil supply, if it continues to be extracted at current rates, it's going to be exhausted by the end of the next 60 years. So they have kind of downward spiraled into that oil dependency again. When the Vision 2030 is not working out for them, they have again downward spiraled into that oil dependency again. So they're just unable to come out from that oil obsessed and oil dependency. So when that oil runs out, eventually there will be a very big population, because I think Saudi Arabia's population is something like 3 crore people, or 3 to 4 crore people. It will eventually be much higher than that, because the Saudi friends that I made, they usually were like, we are like 12 siblings. Oh, we have like 10 brothers and sisters. So they are not like a China one-child policy, you know. They're like, they have the freedom to have as many babies as they want to have. So it's the growing population. Oil runs out, then what? Then what happens? It's the big question, you know. So I want to really ask the Saudi government and the Saudi royal family and the Saudi elite people, like, what are you actually planning about your future generations? Because quite frankly, the Vision 2030 did not work out. So are you going to be like much more realistic now and take what I mean, I really don't understand. I mean, what can they possibly do to get out of that oil dependency economy? There is not much that they can actually do. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the big question for them. That's the question I'm going to ask them, and let's see how they entertain that. Okay, enough said. Bye.